Hi guys, this is Discourse Miniatures, and I'm just going to be looking through some of the new releases that Night Models have revealed yesterday at this stage. I haven't really looked through these yet, so I figured I was going to look through them today, this morning. So I thought, why not just kind of record while I do so, give my initial thoughts and impressions on them. Um, I'm just going to be giving sort of my first impressions now, starting with Batman and Robin Classic. I have looked at these. These are probably the only ones that I've really looked at. And the reason why I've looked at these is that these are probably the ones that I'm most interested in. I'm not like the biggest fan of the 60s Batman, of Adam West. I mean, he's very charming, but I sort of grew up on the animated series, so that's kind of my introduction. But yeah, we'll look into these. I'm interested in a smaller rep Batman. That's kind of what originally had interested me in the Adam West one. The Back to Gotham Batman is 144, 143 rep. So it's very expensive. You don't get to bring a lot of cops whenever you bring them. So I'm looking forward to bringing a smaller rep model. Um, and yeah, so 75 rep, that's pretty good. 6 willpower, 7 endurance, that's fine, fine stats. I mean, it's not crazy. It's not great. 4 attack, 4 defense. So that's kind of what you expect for 75 reputation. It's not 5-5, but it's also half the price. So yeah. Shock repellent bat spray. That's pretty good. Rate of fire 1, expansive, so pretty standard template weapon. 1 ammo. It's fine. You're probably, to be honest, not really gonna ever use that. Um, he does come with bat lanes as well, and to be honest, I typically find that Batman rarely has an opportunity to really use bat lanes. I think there might be some play with them. I think they might be okay, but it's not. You don't really want to use Batman to make ranged attacks with rate of fire too. Whenever usually has amazing stats, but I suppose with Adam West, he doesn't really have amazing stats, so maybe it is more worthwhile. The thing I kind of like about this profile though is that it's not his only ranged attack, and I think a lot of template attackers do have that issue where their only available attack is a template weapon that is rate of fire 1 and doesn't have assault, so it's just going to be a single die. And AoE attacks, just they're not as relevant against some crews. I mean, if you're fighting the Joker, this can sometimes be useful because Joker has a lot of weenies, a lot of like 2 defense guys with 4 willpower, 4 endurance. So sometimes it's worth it. Wait, is it just me or does this have no damage? Oh my goodness, so it doesn't even have any damage. Okay, I'm guessing that this is on purpose. So it's enervating 1. Oh no, I take back everything I said. This is terrible. Oh, enervating 1. No, I don't think I'll ever use that. I was kind of just the meme potential. I don't think I'll ever use that. Okay, but let's look at his traits because that's kind of the more important part for a model like this. So arrest, this is amazing. This is great. Any Batman that can have arrest, even if he is a bit of a weaker one, with arrest, that's brilliant because there's just so much setup that's needed to make arrest work right. Whenever you have Batman, he swoops in, he beats up somebody, and then kind of watches them get up at the end of every single turn. That's always a bit of a problem. But this is just amazing. Backlaw, brilliant. Always excellent. Always excellent. The mobility you get from Backlaw is just brilliant. Detective, superb. A lot of the DCPD, well, Batman deck victory cards, it gets really enabled by Detective, so that's superb. KAPOW. So until the end of its activation, this model's melee attacks gain +1 to attack dice rolls and blunt 3. That is that's amazing. Like blunt 3, what does that? Blunt. Instead of inflicting normal crit, the attack. Ugh, that is superb. Okay, so he actually can fight then. So I mean, he's rolling 4 dice, but he's getting +1 to those attack die, and also on crits with his 4+ strength, he's dealing an extra 3 stun damage. That's pretty good. Millionaire gains $400 in funding. This is good. It's not as amazing as some other crews would like it. I mean, a lot of organized crime get enabled by additional funding. With Batman, the $400 in funding is fine. But to be honest, I always find that with GCPD, specifically heavy decks or crew builds, you're usually running around with plenty of additional funding anyway. Now that said, more funding's really good for them because they have radios, they have street guy, they have order from lieutenant training. They have some really amazing things in their equipment list. So $400 in funding, I'm never going to turn my nose up at. Reinforced gloves, yep, pretty standard. Veteran, fine, not really that big. Teamwork 2. During its activation, this model may roll 2 additional dice when performing melee attacks and defense rolls while the named models within 4 inches. So this is obviously Robin, Burt Ward. This is this is amazing. So if you keep Robin within 6 inches or 4 inches of Batman, this 4 and this 4, they're sixes. So he gets 6 attacks, 6 defense. That's better than Back to Gotham Batman. So, I mean, if you keep them as a team, this Batman is, in theory, far more frightening than Back to Gotham for 75 rep. So, same reputation cost as Batgirl, for example, who basically is this build, but doesn't come with this absolutely killer trait or this. And I already think the Batgirl at 75 rep or 65. No, well, in any case, this model is excellent, absolutely excellent, and I could see genuinely replacing the Back to Gotham Batman in a lot of lists. So here we have Robin, Burt Ward, 38 rep, $100. Okay, this has to be a mistake. 38 rep for 7 endurance, 7 willpower, 4 defense, 4 attack. Wow. Okay, so he hasn't even taken a hit to his offensive power. Um, Yeah, no, I think this might be a mistake because this is just too good. I mean, I've been looking through the return the Clown Party box set for the Joker recently, just because I'm currently filming my next Spotlight on Gotham video, and some of the models like Borgon the Cursed, they come with 10 endurance, but they have 5 willpower and 2 defense, and they're like 53 reps. So this is just so beyond what we would expect. And does he? Yeah. And he has teamwork too, Batman. So this is a 6, and this is a 6. So, I mean, obviously you have to beat a 4, but he's getting to roll 6 defense die against that with 7 willpower, 7 endurance. Oh my god. No, that's too much. Too much. I mean, as this card as it is right now, I mean, I would pay, I would pay this price. Yeah, look, 7 willpower. 6 willpower. Yeah. No, 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 no. This is wrong. Okay, so presuming that is wrong, Backlaw. That's brilliant. So really nice to have another Backlaw. Boy Wonder. Enemy models cannot reroll attack dice against this model granted by the handy rule. That is that's fine actually. I mean, I think the Joker's crew come with a fair amount of handy, so that is okay. That's fine. That's. I mean, you'd rather have it than not. It adds to his defense. Detective. Fine. One of the boys. This model benefits from the boss's Inspire rule, as if it held the henchman rank. Okay, yeah, so he's a sidekick, but he gets inspired. That's really big. That's actually really, really nice, especially because you're encouraged by the teamwork to stay so close. It just means that he basically always gets to free manipulate. That's excellent for a sidekick, especially a cheap one. Radio, okay, that's actually brilliant. So, I mean, I don't think it's as relevant on this model because you're probably going to be keeping him within 4 inches of Batman anyway. But it's nice to have. It's mine. Enemy models cannot reveal your suspect markers while the marker is within 2 inches of this model. That's okay. It's on a few pieces. I don't think it's um, it's a little bit less relevant than maybe you might think. I always kind of expected to do something, but I'm usually just not thinking about this when I'm thinking about where my model's going and what he's doing. But yeah, that's Adam West Batman and Burt Ward Robin are amazing. Adam West Batman is great. Superb for his cost. Burt Ward Robin is broken at this price, so I'm hoping that this is probably a mistake. I could see him maybe having more around the 4s and 5s. with this sort of like defense stats. I think more around there rather than 7-7. 7-7 is absurd. But yeah, no, so some really nice models. I'm really pleased to see these. I know a lot of people were sort of hoping that there would be some 60s Batman villains. Like I'm not the hugest fan of the Adam West Batman. I think he's fun enough, and I think it's fine. I used to watch the cartoon version that was based on Adam West when I was younger. So I am sort of endeared to it. But right now, my focus, I think that Night Model's focus should be kind of what they're doing, which is try to get decks out for every crew that's available, and then maybe, some of these more fun sort of releases on the side. I think is a really nice way of their focus. So I look forward to these. I'll probably pick these up at some stage, maybe not this month, but I'll pick them up. These will be going into my crews because I honestly think that just Adam West adds a lot of flexibility to the Batman lists because, well, the 75 rep just it gives you a little bit more, like, room to breathe whenever you're thinking about what henchmen you're going to be bringing. Um, I probably can't really foresee him being brought in a Bat Family, but maybe actually. I mean, Bat Family struggles with trying to get models in, and I suppose altogether, what, 75, 38, so what, 113 rep, right? Yeah, 113 rep for both of these models. It's pretty competitive for an extra two activations. So maybe we will actually see these in Bat Family. It'll be a little bit odd in terms of the theme though, because Batwoman and stuff um are all sort of like the standard comic book size. But okay, so that's Batman and Robin. Let's see. And now we have KGBeast. So I mostly know this character from there was a Suicide Squad cartoon movie that I've seen. That I think he's used really well in that movie. I think his introduction as KGBeast, where he comes flying out of a plane, oh, on a helicopter, or he's on a bike and he comes flying out the back of a plane. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's see. Let's have a look at his stats. So he's ranked free agent, affiliation unknown, rivalry Batman. So pretty standard villain free agent kind of ranks affiliations. 95 reputation. So pretty pricey, pretty expensive. $500. Okay, so crouching up towards the assault rifle style, usually about $600 for an assault rifle. So see, 7 willpower. It's fine. 9 endurance. That's a nice amount of health. I like that with the 95 rep, but you kind of want him to do quite a bit. So it's nice that he can't be killed too easily. 5 attack, 5 defense. That's brilliant. I really feel like there's a threshold. Oh, there's a couple of thresholds when it comes to defense. I think between 2 and 3, the difference between a 2 defense model and a 3 defense model is massive. It's like the Atlantic Ocean. And then the difference between 4 defense and 5 defense is not as big, you know, not as big, but it's huge. It's pretty big. Um, so this is really, really nice, especially for a 95 rep model. You don't want them to fall over. 3 strength die, that's pretty good. 10 movement, that's fine. 3 special, standard. Okay, so he has 2 guns. Alright, so the machine gun, blood stun, 5 rate of fire. It's nice. 2 ammo, okay, fine. Medium range firearm, red dot. Red dot, I believe. What does red dot mean? Let's see. Aha, I've looked it up before. Weapons with this special rule can reroll up to 1 failed attack die when performing a ranged attack. Okay, that's pretty good. Well, actually, that's amazing. With this dice pool, you're gonna roll a fail. So that's actually great. Medium range is fine, so. 2 strength die. Blood stun's kind of sad, but I mean, are you really gonna complain whenever you're rolling, what, 6 dice, including the strength? I mean, I'm not. That's gonna be 6 blood. That'll kill a lot of people. If it gets a hit, obviously. But it might. Probably will. Next up, we have the cybernetic gun. Blood. Now, this is. I like to see this. I like to see it whenever a model or a weapon focuses its damage. I really like this. 2 rate of fire, so not as good. Beam. Oh, devastating. So it's rolling 2 strength die. Beam. Let's look that up again. Yep, so same as firearm, hits on 2 plus, ignores. Okay. Ignores cover. Ignore cover. Okay, yeah, so really, if you don't move, this is this is gonna be rolling 4 dice. So the 6 versus 4, and it's 2 blood. I think this is stronger. I think the cybernetic gun is stronger, to be honest. Obviously the strength die isn't quite as good. No, it's perfect. Yeah. What? Oh my goodness. I look this up often because Harley has it. Yep, 2 strength die. So I think that the machine gun is not as good as cybernetic. So I think I'll mostly be firing this until the ammo gives out. Assassin 2. Um, Assassin is a fine sort of trait. If this model removes an enemy model as a casualty, you may pick one objective card from the spent resource pile with a maximum victory points value of 2, and then add that card to your hand. I find that typically speaking, it's very rare that I have a lot of spent cards that I then want to pull back into my hand and score. Usually, whenever I'm thinking about well, what cards I'm going to be using as a resource during the turn, I kind of write them off as like whether or not I'm going to be scoring them as a victory point. I typically hold on to the cards that I plan on scoring for the victory points in my hand. I don't use them as resources, typically speaking. That's actually bad play on my part. I think it might be. I mean, it's nice to have the flexibility, I suppose, but it's not exactly the easiest sort of condition. It requires a lot of chess gambits, really. Like you're sort of really trying to see the future, look into your crystal ball whenever the map, at the beginning of the round, see how you're going to be playing this. You play one as a resource, you get a kill, you pull it back in, you score that card. I mean, it's kind of like a dream scenario. I don't really see it ever happen that often, but it's nice upside. I don't think the 95 rep. I don't think he's really being penalized in terms of his rep cost with these sorts of stats and this amount of traits. So configurable weapon. This is new, or at least it's not one that I've really seen before. So this model can only use one of its weapons. Choose it during your first raise the plan phase. Okay, this model can perform an effort and spend a special action during its activation to change the selected weapon to the other. Um, okay, so you can change it if needed. So you don't get to just fire. It's kind of sad. That's fine. I mean, I know what I'm going to be doing. Cybernetic gun, cybernetic gun. Then machine gun, machine gun. That's probably going to be it. I mean, unless I really need to deal stun damage, but I rarely find that I need to deal stun damage. I guess it depends on the crew, really, right? I suppose. I mean, this gets a little bit extra value on somewhere like League of Assassins, I think, right? Where most of their damage is blood. They deal almost exclusively blood, except for like Lady Shiva, who deals 2 stun, who's amazing at dealing stun damage. And I always feel like you need to bring a model like Lady Shiva in a list like League of Assassins just to keep your opponent honest. So the machine gun can kind of do that as well, prevent them from just efforting everything. That if they know that you've got the machine gun equipped, or have the potential to swap it, right? Then maybe they'll be a little bit more reluctant to effort all of your blood damage, guys. Maybe. Maybe. I don't think it would. I think whenever I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to effort a defense, I'm not really concerned about a single blood stun damage. Well, potentially 6 damage, but good aim. So he can move and fire with the aim special rule. Okay. Neither of these have the aim special rule. In addition, the model gains +1 to its attack dice rolls with range attacks until the end of the round. That is, oh, with a 5 rated fire weapon plus 1 to its rolls. That is amazing. Okay, that's making machine gun look a little bit better because this obviously won't apply to the 2 strength dice that you get from devastating. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So night models are trying to convince me to take the machine gun. I don't like Bloodstun. I just don't like it. I know that a lot of people still real that a lot of people really disliked it at launch of 3rd edition. They didn't like the Bloodstun damage, which is sort of the equivalent of 1 damage from the 2nd edition. Um And since then, people have sort of come around to it a little bit. And I think they've come around to it a little bit mostly because it's what the vast majority of weapons have, right? Um, I still always prefer blood. Okay, just or focused, right? Either two stun or two blood. That's what I like to see. I like to see focus. Martial artist, fine, it's pretty good. Protects him against weenies. Master fighter gains a +1 bonus to his attack dice roll when performing unarmed melee attacks. Okay, so yeah, that's it's pretty good. I mean, he's always going to be punching unarmed, so pretty good, pretty good. With 5 attack. Okay. One arm, this model suffers a -1 penalty to its defense die rolls. This is the first time I've seen this, although I presume that the Ollie Queen, Green Arrow, I haven't looked at his stats from the Dark Knight Rises, or not Dark Knight Rises, from the sort of the Dark Knight Returns. I presume he has this. -1. So, okay. Okay, so this is actually a 4, right? In theory. The enemy have to beat 5 in order to score a hit, which is really good. But then whenever you're rolling your defense die, you're -1 to those. You're basically rolling. Well, I mean, you're rolling 5 dice, but you're suffering a -1 to that roll, right? Which is sort of the equivalent of maybe 1 or 2 dice knocked off. So, hmm, that's pretty sad. I mean, 95 reputation. This guy is not cheap. He's not the most expensive model, right? I mean, he's already being level pricing, but he's not cheap. Retractable claws, model unarmed, melee attacks inflict blood stun, and have sharp weapon room. Okay, so he basically has a melee weapon here. Just imagine retractable claws kind of slotted down just below these two with blood stun, you know, the sharp trait. I guess they just didn't have enough space. But yeah, that's nice. Runaway, that's good. That's good. You never want a model like this being arrested. I mean, that's always very sad, especially with a lower sort of willpower than maybe you would hope for. Thief. Once this trait is activated for the rest of the round, this model's melee attacks gain steal. Okay, so when I first saw this model and I saw the 2 guns, I kind of figured, okay, this guy's going to be a sort of mobile weapon platform, right? I mean, he's gonna be able to fire. You're gonna want to keep him at the back and just shoot away people with these amazing sort of rate of fire, big dice pull guns. But with Thief, the 5 attack, the sort of +1 bonus to attack dice rolls, the blood stun attacks. Really, this guy is a bruiser. This guy is a quarterbacker. I think he's happy to just sit back and shoot people with the cybernetic gun, but he is not afraid to move in on someone like Batman or if you're getting a bit of pressure from the enemy sort of melee opponents. So yeah, this guy's pretty good. I'm actually pretty hype on him now that I'm sort of reading through his list. I mean, I think he has downsides, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing where I can maybe slot him in some crews. He would he fit in Two Face? The funding is kind of a problem for Two Face because Two Face already has a lot of guns. He has a lot of guns, but I kind of like the idea of just adding to that. Maybe League of Assassins could be pretty good there, or maybe just maybe the Court of Owls. Um, so veteran, fine. Yeah, KGBeast. I really like this model. I think I was a little bit down on him. I saw the 95 rep. You know, 7 willpower, 9 endurance. No, but I'm actually pretty hyped on this guy. I think he's going to be joining the Batman and the Adam West, Burt Ward. Yeah, this guy will probably be joining that list of guys that I will be buying. Not this month, but soon. And Polka-Dot Man. Okay, so let's see. Polka-Dot Man. Okay, so so this guy, I mean, he's essentially joining. Yeah, so he's a henchman, affiliation unknown, rivalries Batman, 44 reputation, and $300 funding, 40mm BS. So this guy is essentially a continuation of the silly henchman that we've seen Night Models produce. We've had Clock King, Kite Man, the Condiment King, of course. I need to catch up to that one sooner or later. Um, and who else? Psycho, Psycho Pirate, Pirate Psycho. I don't know. I'm not too big on my lore to know Psycho Pirate who he is. Right, but there are these lists of silly sort of golden age or silver age style kind of superheroes dressed in their ridiculous outfits with their ridiculous superpowers. They all seem to bring something odd, something a little bit extra that a normal henchman wouldn't do. You know, maybe they're lacking in a bit of killing power. Stats wise, not super impressive, but they come with odd gizmos and gadgets, and a lot of them have come with 3 point cards, and that's that latter bit. The fact that they come with a 3 point scoring victory card is kind of why I think some of them are amazing. But otherwise, a lot of them aren't that great. For example, Kite Man, I'm not hyped on him. I love the character from the Harley Quinn animated series, but I do not like the model at all. I don't like what he's trying to do. I'm not impressed. But he has a 3 point card. Sometimes it's worth it to bring a low rep model for a 3 point card. But anyway, Polka-Dot Man. So 6 willpower, 5 endurance. Fine sort of stats. What, 3 hits from Batman and he's down? That's good. 2 assault rifle blows. Yeah, okay. 2 attack. Yikes. So that is low. That is very, very low. That is lower than a lot of 14 rep models. So, okay. 3 defense. It's sort of okay. I feel like once you start getting above 30, 35 or so, you maybe want to start seeing the defense go up in terms of the reputation, but we'll see what traits he has. 5 strength, 10 movement, so movement's fine. Throwing discs. Okay, 1 blood. Short range, mechanical, sharp, so rerolls the strength die, I believe. Yeah, so he's rerolling the strength die. And throwing, so he can move and shoot it. That's good. 4 blood damage. Or 1 blood damage, 4 rate of fire. It's basically a rubbish carbine. Or not rubbish, but I mean it's a lot weaker, right? With the short range. The sharp's nice, but I'm not sure if I would take an extra dice over sharp. So not really impressed by the stats, but let's see what the traits do. So auto repair 3. He rolls a 1d6 at the beginning of the recount phase and result of 3 plus. He removes a damage type marker of any type from this model. That's nice, right? I mean, that's not too bad. Sort of, if you look like at a model like Clayface, comes in 115 rep, basically removes 3 damage at the end of every round. I think paying half that cost and getting a sort of chance of removing 1 is pretty nice. On top of course, this is on top of the 1 stun damage that everybody removes. So really, he's removing 2 damage from his health pool. It's not bad. It's conditional, which is kind of a bummer. Um, he's not the sturdiest model in the world, so it's kind of sad that it is a conditional roll. But 3 plus is not bad. I mean, it's 50-50, right? Flip of a coin. Dot's suit. This model can move in any direction, including vertically over obstacles and difficult ground, without extra cost or penalty. Okay. In addition, when a friendly model within 8 inches of the line of sight becomes the target of an attack, this model may perform efforts to remove dice from that attack. This model cannot buy any equipment. So in addition, when a friendly model within 8 inches of the line of sight becomes the target of an attack. So it's just a friendly model. Okay, so he essentially has... So there's 2 components, right? So first of all, he can move in any direction. That's kind of fine. Um, it's over obstacles and difficult ground, so I guess you basically ignore difficult ground. You can go up to the top of buildings. You've got movement 10, so it's not too bad. You'll probably get to the top of most buildings, so that's good. I like that, right? It adds a little bit of verticality to some crews that otherwise wouldn't have it, because he can be brought with anyone, really. Apart from Batman, obviously. In addition, when a friendly model then inches line of sight becomes the target of an attack, this model may perform efforts. So essentially, this is bodyguard, but for everyone. So he can bodyguard everybody. It's like the sort of opposite of protect me. Instead of he pulling models in to defend him, he can defend others. I like that. I actually really like that. There's sometimes where I have a bodyguard model, and I really, really, really want to defend another henchman. But I can't because the bodyguard is like, no, no, I only defend bosses and sidekicks. So I like this. I like this. I mean, I'm beginning to see what the point of this model is. He can't buy equipment. That's a real bummer. That's really sad. But I mean, he's already 300 rep and 40 or $300 for rep. So I mean, obstinate once per round when this model can't make an effort because it has reached the effort limit. It gains one free effort. Additionally, this model can make effort once per round when taking a willpower roll. Okay. That is fine. I mean, it essentially means that so the effort rules are kind of odd. This doesn't mean that. So I think on first reading, it could mean that in theory you effort 3 times and then you get another 3 efforts. So you're like minusing 4 dice off their pool or adding 4 dice to your pool. But the effort rules themselves, if I recall correctly, state that you cannot go over 3. You can never go over 3. So really what this means in practice is that you can effort up to 2 times. And then you get a 3 effort to remove 3 from their pool or add 3 to your pool. So that's good. He's got 6 willpower, which isn't, insubstantial, right? It's kind of just that cut above the sort of 20 odd rep models. It's that slight step up. So that's nice. Power armor. Enemy models roll 1 less attack dice when targeting this model. In addition, you can make efforts to ignore up to 2 damage markers received per effort. Okay, I like that. Okay. So, power armor. So this is kind of 4. Kind of. They're only trying to your opponents are trying to hit 3, but they roll 1 less. So it's like a weaker version of defense. I kind of like this. I kind of like what they're doing with this. Where they're beginning to confound the general principles of the armor, whereas we would look at like if this guy was 4 defense, I think he would be absolutely amazing, maybe like too good for 44 rep, but he's kind of got this halfway house version. So a very defensive model. In addition, you can make efforts to ignore up to 2 damage markers received per effort. In addition, you can make efforts to ignore up to 2 damage markers received per effort. So I have to presume that this is something like the LexCorp troopers have this. I haven't really examined the LexCorp troopers personally, but I have to imagine this is something that they have as well. Okay, yep, I like that. So good model. I think he's fun. I think he'll probably find a good spot in a few crews. I do know that a couple people were talking about having him in Two-Face on the Discord. I think that that is certainly a place where he might be able to fit in. I do think that 300 rep or $300, sorry, in terms of funding, I think that's kind of a hard ask for a Two-Face list. Again, Two-Face is just so competitive when it comes to those funding costs, right? He's so many guns. Um, throwing discs, it's fine. This model is okay. I'm not probably not going to be bringing him very often. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of silly henchmen, though. I mean, I like that they exist. I think that they're very nice to have these sort of uh, tactical picks, kind of like tech options that you bring, against certain sort of enemy crews and things like that. If you've got a particular weakness, these models are pretty good to bring in. But yeah, this guy is no calendar man. Basically, I think he definitely is fitting. He has a style and he's doing something which is really good. I think for these types of henchmen, these silly henchmen, they need to do something specific and it needs to be fine. And this guy is defensive and he's going to be defending others. That's it. Great. It's excellent. Yeah, so, yeah, no, I like this model. Okay. And then let's see. So, now we have the court. So this is the first in the sort of, Court of Owls, uh, list. And, okay, so we're actually already hitting about 30 minutes, so I tell you what, I think I will take a bit of a break and then come back and look through the court. So I'll do another video on this where I go through these Kelvin and Hobbes. Sorry, Kelvin, the Court of Owls, new bat box, and we will have a look through those. Okay, so well, thanks for joining me for this video where we've looked through Polka-Dot Man, KGBeast, and Batman and Robin. I'll probably be doing these each time as they come out. Night models have been pretty good at releasing new models. Um, on a monthly basis now, and they're looks like they're getting back into the rhythm of things. So as these happen, I'll probably, as and when, begin to look through those videos. But yeah, so I'll come back. Next video will be looking through the Court of Owls releases. So I hope you join me then, and I will see you soon. Bye.